Hello friends, welcome to the Angular interview question tutorial series. In this tutorial we will see what is the Angular architecture. So in this tutorial we can see this is the design for Angular architecture. Here we can see like the main part of Angular is the module which contain like template, component and there is a communication between the template and the component is using either we can use the property binding as well as or we can use the event binding. So we can do the communication between the component and the template. So when we create any component in Angular, so it creates the 4 files as we have seen in the Angular 8 tutorial series. Like it created one component file and one is the module file, as well as it contains the respective HTML and CSS file. So basically it gives the communication if we want to communicate between the a template, or we can say the HTML file and the module. That communication we can do using the property binding or using the event binding that we have seen in the Angular 8 tutorial series. And then basically this module comes from the ng module directive, which contain some fields like selector, and that selector basically it contain like declaration and the import and provider and bootstrap, that I will explain in a bit. So that is the directive, like it communicate with the template because we give the reference of the template into the ng module directive. And we have another injector, that is services. Basically in this here we create the service, and that service we have to define into the module, like in the ng module, like in the provider, and that service we communicate with the components. So basically this is the metadata, and through this we communicate with the module, template and the component. So this is the basic architecture of the Angular, which we can explain while giving the interview. And there are some 8 blocks of the Angular application, and these are the main 8 blocks. So basically like module, component, metadata, template, data binding, service, directive and dependency injection. These all things we have seen briefly in Angular 8 tutorial question. So I recommend you please go to the Angular 8 tutorial question and see the difference between all this and how we implement into the Angular. And like as I explained, like in the Angular application is basically a set of the modules, or that module come into the ng module directive, and it has at least one root module, and that is important. And in Angular application, ng module contains the following property, like first is the declaration, which basically used to declare the component, and in the imports we use to declare the module, and in the provider, like if we are going to create any service, then that we have to declare under the providers. And next is the bootstrap. So basically this is a root app component, and when we call any application, first it see in the bootstrap like which component it is calling. So based on that component it called to the respective HTML, and we show that HTML on the browser. So this is the all about the basically a Angular architecture. If you have any question or doubt, please comment. Thank you.